Hey guys, today we're going to talk a little bit more about perpendicular and parallel lines. I have some notes here to show you. First of all, you should all recognize this from your Algebra 1 days. This is the slope formula. Slope is the change in y over the change in x. So if you simply subtract the y's and subtract the x's, you'll get the slope of a line. A cool fact about lines is that parallel lines have the same exact slope. For example, if I start at 5, the y-intercept, these are in y equals mx plus b form, my slope is 2/3. Here, the slope is also 2/3, but I'm starting at a y-intercept of -8. It doesn't really matter where you start. If you start at 5 and go up 2/3, or if you start at -8 and go up 2/3, the lines are going to be parallel. Now, perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. Let's say we start and go up 2/3. So that would look again like this. But this line, you go down 3 and right 2 from -8. So it would end up being perpendicular. It's not a great picture, but it would form a right angle with that line. So negative reciprocals means if you take 2/3 and flip it over, you get 3/2, but you got to make it negative, so it's -3/2. So let's try a few questions. We'll start on page 205. On page 205, let's start with number 25. There's a picture. It says use the slope formula to determine the slope of each line. Now it says use the slope formula. We could easily see the slope is up 1 and left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Since we're going to the left, it's -7. So we'll jot that down to check our answer. Based on the picture, we went up 1 and left 7. Using the slope formula, change in y over change in x, let's see if we get the same answer. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's plug in our values. It's really important to list the points. So point A on the picture is -3, 2. Since that's the first point I wrote down, that's going to be x1, y1. And point B is 4, 1. Now again, please take my advice. This is the most important thing. Write out your points and label them, because students very often plug in the numbers wrong. So my y2 is 1 and my y1 is 2. So this is 1 minus 2. My x2 is 4, my x1 is -3. 4 minus -3. 1 minus 2 is -1. When you subtract the negative, it's like adding, so this is 7. So -1/7 is the slope. So we did it correctly, because it checks this answer. Let's try number 27. 27, they're asking you, use slopes to determine if the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So EF. E is 8, 2, and F is -3, 4. So EF, E is, once again, 8, 2. We'll call that x1, y1. And F is -3, 4. That's x2, y2. Next, the other line is GH. GH has G, which is 6, 1. So that's x1, y1. And H is -4, 3. So we'll call that x2, y2. I know it's a pain to write all this out, but it's definitely going to make sure that you get the right answer. So we have two tests. Let's find the slope of EF. So we're going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the y2 is 4, y1 is 2, so 4 minus 2 over negative 3 minus 8. So this is 2 over negative 11. Let's see what happens in GH. Same thing, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 3 minus 1 over negative 4 minus 6. So this is 2 over negative 10. Now let's see if I made a mistake, because maybe this is supposed to come out to be a negative 11. So I look back. Did I copy down the points right? 8, 2, negative 3, 4. Yes. 6, 1, negative 4, 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. Negative 3 minus 8 is negative 11. 3 minus 1 is 2. Negative 4 minus 6 is negative. I did it correctly. These are not the same, so they're not parallel. And they are not negative reciprocals, so they're not perpendicular. So we're going to say neither. Okay, let's try another question. What about, let's try number 30. Number 30, well actually the last few questions, 30 through 35, or 30 through 32, it says write the equation of each line in the given form. Slope-intercept form. They gave us 2 points. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And the points are 6, 1, and negative 3, 5. So what we're going to do is first, we want to find the slope. Find m. We're going to do that by using the slope formula. Label our points, x1, y1. It doesn't matter which one you label which. x2, y2. Plug in 5 minus 1, negative 3 minus 6, 4 over negative 9, that's m. Second, we're going to find b. To find b, this is a really clever technique. This equation has 4 letters of the alphabet in it. B is what we're looking for. M, we just found out, negative 4/9. Now here's the clever part. X and y are variables, but we could replace x and y with a point that lies on this line we're trying to find. So you can use either of these points. Here's an xy ordered pair, 6, 1. So if I replace x with 6 and y with 1, I could solve for b. Negative 4/9 times 6 is negative 24/9. I'm going to add 24/9 to both sides to get b by itself. And to add 24/9 to 1, 1 is really 9/9. Right? If you multiply the top and bottom by 9 to get a common denominator. So my b is 33/9. So my equation is y equals m, which is negative 4/9, x plus b, which is 33/9. Let's see. Let's try 32. 32 is an interesting question. 32 says you have an x-intercept of 1 and a y-intercept of negative 2. And they're asking you to use point slope form. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, m is, of course, the slope. x1, y1 is simply a point on the line. Now, if they tell you the x-intercept is 1, that means it crosses the x-intercept or x-axis at 1, 0. If they tell you the y-intercept is -2, that means it's crossing the y-axis at 0, -2. So here are some nice points that you can use to find the slope. So the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's label x1, y1, x2, y2. So -2 minus 0 over 0 minus 1. This is -2 over -1, which is 2. And then all I have to do is replace x1 and y1 with one of these points. I'm going to choose the first one. 1, 0. And you could simplify this if you want, but you don't need to. And the last thing I want to point out, it asks you on some questions if lines are parallel, intersect, or coincide. So I just want to go over those words. Parallel, we already went over. They have the same slope. Lines that coincide are actually the same line. So if you look at 2x plus 2y equals 8, and x plus y equals 4, I know that these lines coincide. Because if you divide everything by 2, in the first line, it's actually the same line. Lines that coincide fall right on top of one another. So if you graph a line and then you graph another line, it may actually be the same line. That's what coincident or lines that are coincide are called. So give these questions a try and let me know if you have